Mr. Jalil, please.
Yeah. Mr. Speaker, sir, at the very outset, I would like to profusely thank you for admitting this motion on privilege, breach of privilege, for the benefit of the members of this August House and subsequently the people of the state. Sir, it is very unfortunate that the Honorable Chief Minister, who is the leader of the House of this August House, has misled this August House and subsequently the people of the state by giving wrong information while replying to a pending motion with the title, "This House do now discuss the failure of governance and deteriorating of law and order in the state." The reply was on the 9th of March 2021. Sir, in his reply, the Honorable Chief Minister said, "I have obtained it from the Assembly, the proceedings of the August House." I will read out the portion of the reply of the Honorable Chief Minister. Quote, "Now, because of this agreement, today we have a situation where NTPC is literally arm-twisting the government of Meghalaya and stopping us from buying power from other generation companies." He also further said in his reply, quote, "Now let me tell you the very concerned part of this entire agreement that was signed in 2007 by then Congress government was the fact that if we continue not to take power from NTPC, which we are doing right now, we have to pay them 133 crore for nothing, and this will go on for the next 25 years. So multiply 133 crores by 25 years, that is coming to 3,325 crores will have to be paid by MECL for not drawing any power from NTPC." Unquote. Mr. Speaker, sir, now with this statement given by the Honorable Chief Minister, we can understand that the Honorable Chief Minister has misinformed this August House. He has misled this August House and eventually created mistrust and wrong perception among the people. Now, how he has misled this August House? Because in the PPA, there is no mention of rupees 11 crore per month to be paid to NTPC. There is no mention of 133 crore of rupees to be paid to NTPC per year, and there is no mention of the amount of 3,325 crore of rupees to be paid in a period of 25 years. This is the power purchase agreement made between the NTPC and the MECL in 2007. Now let me read the para 2.2.4 out of the PPA. Notwithstanding the obligations of MESEB to pay all the dues as per this agreement, in the event of default in opening of LC, that is letter of credit, of adequate amount in favor of NTPC or payment of bills beyond a period of 60 days of billing, NTPC shall be entitled to regulate, divert the share of MESEB to any other bulk purchaser as per the provision of generic procedure for Regulation of Power Supply issued by CERC, that is Central Electricity Regulatory Commission, or any other competent authority from time to time read with the provisions of tripartite agreement till the time default is set free. Now, Mr. Speaker, sir, if the MECL is not a position to pay or draw the power from the NTPC, as per this para, the NTPC can always divert the power supply and the share of MECV to any other bulk purchaser within 60 days of billing. And also in para 2.25, it is written in the PPA, in case of default in payment of bills beyond a period of 90 days of billing, NTPC shall have the right to reallocate power to other bulk power consumers. So the amount that has been mentioned by the Honorable Chief Minister, wherein he stated that up to the tune of 11 crores will have to be paid to NTPC without drawing any power from the NTPC. There is no mention about this in this agreement. Neither this 11 crore rupees per month is mentioned, nor 133 crore, neither 3,335 crore has been mentioned. And if the MECL is not willing to purchase power from the NTPC, or it is not being able to pay the dues, then there is again exit clause in the agreement. In para 12, the second paragraph, we can see, in the event the functions of MESCV are recognized and or this PPA is assigned to private organization, agency, partly or wholly, the successor organization, the assignee shall ensure alternative payment security mechanism to the satisfaction of NTPC before assignment of this agreement to the private organization, agencies. In the event such satisfactory arrangements is not met, NTPC shall have the option to terminate this agreement. In the event of termination of this agreement, MESCB shall be liable and continue to pay the capacity charges each month till firm arrangement of sale of MESCB's share with alternate customers substituting the MESCB is tied up. That means, Mr. Speaker, sir, the security mechanism, payment security mechanism has to be adopted. And if the MECB default, then there is an exit clause where the agreement can be terminated. And in the event of the termination of this agreement, the capacity charges has to be paid each month till firm arrangement of sale of MECV share with alternate customers substituting the MECV status, till the time when separate bulk purchasers are being engaged to purchase the MECV's share. Till that time only, the MECL or MESCB has to pay the capacity charges, fixed charges, which is, in other words, meant. So where is the scope for the Chief Minister to say that this much amount has to be paid for long 25 years? Meaning, From the submission of the Chief Minister, it implies that the state or the MECL has don't have any other option but to pay this much 3,325 crores for long 25 years, which is not correct, Mr. Speaker, sir. That is why, therefore, we have been repeatedly raising this issue in the preceding days of this current session. But we could see that the Honorable Chief Minister has been adamant to correct his statement, which was wrongly given. And therefore, since his statement tantamounts to mislead this august House and created misperception among the people of the state, I am just depending on your wisdom to take a corrective measures by taking action on this. So, with these few words, I resume my seat, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Mr. Speaker, sir, at the very outset, I would like to thank the honourable member from Rangshakona constituency, Shri Zenith M. Sangma, for bringing this privilege motion and allowing me to bring out all the facts very clearly for not just this august House, but for all the people in the state to see. So there were a number of points that were mentioned by the honourable member, and I will address all the points that have been mentioned by him. But at the very outset, I would also like to go into the entire genesis of why we are here today and why we're mentioning this entire NTPC issue. So there was a power cut, or I should say a regulation that was put by the NTPC a few weeks back. And categorically, the allegation has been made against the government that the government had not done enough and the government had failed in stabilizing the power situation in our state. And the reason we brought this entire thing out was to throw light to the public that the power situation in the state is not a situation that came out in the last 1 month, 2 months, or 1 year. There has been a situation that has been there for years, including this NTPC agreement that we signed. So that was the genesis or the background of where we started, sir. So I will not take much time. It's a very, very simple and clear point that has to be made today. Sir, I have with me the NTPC billing amount for the month of 4th of March 2021. And here, the billing amount says capacity charges, which is fixed charge, 11.86 crores. This is the current bill that we have received from NTPC, which says 11.8 crores. So this is the number that I'm referring to, that we are paying 11.8 crores today. Now, if you again further go back into the entire history of this, apart from the 100 crores that we cleared few months back to government, to NTPC through the Atmanirbhar loan, we still have an outstanding due of 531 crores. So we have already paid 100 crores, which was part of the running bill for 1 year, which we had taken. Post that, we stopped taking. And from that time till today, there is a 531 crore outstanding due to NTPC, and all of these are fixed charges. All of this is fixed charge, along with, of course, penalties and surcharges also in it. So where is the question of misleading the House? These are facts right in front of you to see that 11.8 crores is the bill that NTPC has given us. 531 crores is the amount of the fixed charges that the NTPC is charging us, along with the penalty and the late charges that are there. Where is the question of misleading? These are facts for everybody to see. Now you go to clause number 11, sir. What does clause number 11 say? That the effective date and duration of agreement. This agreement shall come into force from the date of signing of this agreement for all purposes and intent, and shall remain operative up to completion of 25 years from the date of commercial operation of last unit of the station, unless it is specifically extended. Now, sir, here itself, it clearly mentions that this agreement is going to go on for 25 years more from the last date of commission, which was 2019. Now, if you were to multiply this amount of 11 crores and multiply it by 12 months and multiply that by 25 years, it comes up to 3,000 crores. So therefore, it's based on the current facts that are available with us, which is based on this bill that the NTPC has given us of 11 crores. Where is the question of misleading the House? I am basing my argument on facts. Further, in the agreement itself, it mentions about fixed charges. Honorable member himself has read those clauses out. So therefore, I will not go into it further. But he also has admitted that there are fixed charges that are applicable there. So again, so there's no question of misleading the House. I've based it on the facts that we have with us today and the agreement that was signed in 2007. We are paying 11.8 crores today to NTPC. We are going to have to pay this for the next 25 years. And if this amount continues, we will be paying 3,000 plus crores if we do not draw any power. Now, honorable member mentioned that the clause says that 2.26 mentions that during the period of regulation and diversion of power, till the power is reallocated to other bulk power consumers. So for past 3 years, nobody has been willing to buy this power from NTPC. So now, yes, if we find a consumer, that's great. We will not have to pay this. But because the rates are high, no other power or no other consumer is willing to pay. So therefore today, in effect, for the past many, many years, we are having to pay this amount, and the dues, as I mentioned, sir, has now piled up to 531 crores on the fixed charges, on the other penalties that are there on the fixed charges, and the late payment fees on the fixed charges. So therefore, honorable member mentioned that we need to reallocate this to other consumers. So we can't find, and for many years we're not being able to find any consumer in this. So very interestingly, honorable member has mentioned about clause 12. So I need to clarify, if you were to read clause 12 clearly, you would really realize that what honorable member is mentioning is completely the other way around. Let me read it again, sir, the second paragraph. In the event the functions of MECB, well, MECL now, are reorganized and or with PPA is assigned to private organizations, agencies, partly or wholly, the successor organizations and assignees shall ensure alternative payment security mechanism to the satisfaction of NTPC before assignment of this agreement to the private organization and agencies. That means without NTPC's clearance, we will not be able to go ahead with that. It doesn't mention exit clause again. It just mentions about the fact that if MECB, if the events of functioning of MECB are reorganized. Number two, in the event, this is the most important part, sir. In the event such satisfactory arrangement is not made, NTPC shall have the option to terminate this agreement. Not MECL. Only NTPC will have the power to terminate the agreement. Very clearly mentioned out here. So isn't this a lopsided agreement in that sense? And further, sir, if you read the last part, which is even more amazing, sir, that in the event of the termination of this agreement, which means NTPC, if they agree to terminate. So in the event of termination of this agreement, I'll just say MECEL because it's written MESEB. So in the event of termination of this agreement, MECL shall be liable to continue to pay the capacity charges each month, which means that if NTPC decides to terminate this agreement, we still have to pay NTPC fixed charges. So where's the question of termination of the agreement? And it says, of course, liable to continue till firm arrangements of sale of MECL share with alternative customers substituting MECL is tied up with. So again, the same condition that till you don't find a new consumer, NTPC can terminate this agreement. And even after they terminate this agreement, which means all the terms and conditions should be nullified. But no, even after the termination of the agreement, MECL still has to pay the fixed charges. So this is what we are trying to stress on and saying that due diligence should have been done. Now, Honorable LO mentioned in his argument that time, saying that, that these are standard documents and formats and agreements that cannot be changed. So this is incorrect. There's no standard format that is made. There are discussions and negotiations that take place between the different supplier and the generation company, and whether it's thermal power project, there'll be different terms and conditions. Whether it's terms and conditions with the hydropower company, it'll be different terms and conditions. So saying that there's a standard and we cannot negotiate in that is incorrect. It depends on the negotiation and discussions that take place. Now, sir, imagine in 2016, when the CRC had come out with the different rates. Even at that point in time, Government of Meghalaya could have taken up this issue with CERC, but it was taken up with Government of India, which is not the correct forum. The redressal and the appeal has to be made to CERC, which was not done. Maybe if we had done it at that point in time, maybe the rates would have been far better for us. So therefore, sir, all these points that the honorable members are mentioning, I have laid down clearly where I'm coming out with these numbers. These are facts in front of everybody to see. Whether it's 11 crores, which we are paying right now, and if this continues for the next 25 years, it will reach 3,000 crores. So where's the question of misleading? Whether it's 25 years, clause 11 clearly says that it will be 25 years this agreement will continue. Fixed charges, we have to pay. Whether we take power or not, we have to pay fixed charges. Clause 2.2.6 says it. Here in the clause 12, clause 12, it clearly says that the exit clause is in favor of NTPC, where they can exit at any time and yet impose the fixed charge on us without having this particular agreement on board. So it is completely an agreement which is not in favor of Government of Meghalaya and MECL. And the point we were trying to make is that the genesis of this problem of NTPC started with that particular agreement. And this is what we stand by even today. The points that I've mentioned and clarified today to you are clear. Facts are here. I've showed the bills also that we have paid. So there is no question of misleading the House. I could be continuously saying the same thing about the opposition also, of how they have misled. But that is not what we're trying to prove out here. What we're trying to prove out here is that we cannot have a blame game and just say that the current government and the current power minister are incompetent and they must resign, and the only way to resolve this issue is if both of them are removed. This is not the solution and the idea in the discussion that we should be having. The point when the genesis of this started in 2007, you must realize that you were very much part of it at that time. So how can you just simply point a finger and blame us? That is what our point that we're trying to make, sir. So therefore, in the interest of healthy debate, I would urge the honorable member not to bring out these points. He knows the facts. I've shown all the facts to him. And I would like to urge him that he can withdraw this particular privilege motion, sir. So with these few points, I have clarified all the points that have been mentioned out here. And with these few words, sir, I resume my seat. Thank you, sir.
Just be very brief, member.
Mr. Speaker, sir. under the provision of Rule 162 of the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of Business. Two options. One is, of course, that whole prerogative is upon you. But since this has been brought before the August House, whether this will have to be referred to the Privileges Committee or can be disposed of by this August House through a discussion. So I think the intention of this breach of privilege motion is definitely to ensure that there is no blame game and there is no impromptu attempt by anybody for engaging in blame game, but to fulfill the responsibility of each one of us, particularly the cabinet, the government, in consistence with the Article 164(2) of the Constitution of India, which provides accountability of the cabinet, the collective accountability of the cabinet to the legislature. Now, it should not become a precedence that in order to share the responsibility and accountability, in order to avoid that, we create a precedence of this nature. Because this obviously is linked to Genesis. Government and the responsibility associated with government is a continuous process. We refer to each government as Government of Meghalaya. And the responsibility, because each of the successive government has to shoulder the responsibility in continuity, any agreement signed by the government at any point of time is passed on to the government, because it's a question of the honors of responsibility of each one of the signatory, and in case of any agreement between the government, that means it's the government. Now, during whose time it has been signed, who is responsible, culmination of this genesis, when these are the only reasons to be attributed for any instances of challenges facing the state, then it becomes a precedent. Now, if we go through this agreement in total, you will also appreciate, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Yeah, point of order. I think, sir, with due respect, you have already given your direction that only the mover and ultimately the person who was alleged can participate. And I think if you allow, again, LO or any other members to, again, raise the issue or justify or maybe counter justification, this, that, there is no answer.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I think I have referred to Rule 162. I have referred to Rule 162, and we are only required to adhere to the rules of procedure and conduct of business.
Even me also, I read this Rule 162, as per the Rule 162, but it seems the LO he started, again, in addition to whatever the mover has explained, he wanted to, again, justify more or raise more issues on this. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I leave it to your powers.
Mr. Speaker, sir, rule is very clear. You have to allow.
2 minutes, please, Doctor. I will allow you.
I'll make a very brief.
Just
the
2
only
minutes.
thing is that it has to be brief.
2 minutes, please.
Can I make a brief, sir?
2 minutes, in 2 minutes only, please.
Maybe 5 minutes.
I think it will be unfair for me. Please.
It's an important
It is important. I have
issue
heard.
which the government also should know.
Yeah.
Now, therefore, look at the other background which is indicated in the petition itself, in the notice itself. Now, this whole LC to be open and the power to retain the money in respect of receivables to the entity, the utility, here now it is MECL, is because of the agreement signed between the Government of India, the state government and RBI, which was signed in 2003. And what does it say? In case of the outstanding dues, in case of the required letter of credit or any other agreed payment security mechanism is not maintained as per the agreement, the generating company transmission licensee, as the case may be, may serve a notice for regulation of power supply on defaulting entity for reducing drawal schedule in case of generating company. Upon receipt of the notice under regulation, thereafter, concerned state load dispatch center, regional load dispatch in whose control areas the regulating entity situation shall make a plan in writing for implementing the regulation for supply and shall inform the regulating entity. This is a long one. These all materials are available with the government. Now, another thing is that similar intimation to government has been issued on 13th of October 2008, when the Honorable Chief Minister was also Power Minister, indicating all the clauses, which are concerned with capacity charges. Now, in the event of any tariff from the generation company, there are two components. One is the generation capacity charges, which is otherwise referred to as the fixed charges. Another one is the energy charges. For instance, even if I have an electricity connection, I am charged of both fixed charge and the energy charge. And this particular is referred to as regulation when you don't draw. As an entity, any of the beneficiary state who has entered into agreement, they'll have to pay the so-called fixed charges, which is referred to as capacity charges. This is part and parcel of the Electricity Act 2003. Read Section 45 onwards. They are all there. Then in addition to that, the relevant clause of regulating is also an offshoot of the Electricity Act 2003, which has been referred to in the notice by the Honorable Petitioner. Therefore, to say that these fixed charges are something which is inconsistent with the Act itself is wrong. Fixed charges will be always there in any of the power purchase agreement. Any of the power purchase agreement.
Okay.
That's why we refer it as a regulation. When we don't pay the payment, there will be sudden stoppage. NIPCO has resorted to regulation. Has NIPCO not resorted to regulation? Regulation refers to that fixed charge. That means when the purchaser is defaulting in paying, then they regulate. During the time of regulation, what is the amount to be paid? The amount to be paid is that fixed charge. We have paid fixed charges. Does the Chief Minister want to say that we have not paid fixed charges to NIPCO when the regulation was invoked in the event of our default? This is a procedure, Mr. Speaker, sir. Okay. That's why we are saying that please don't distort the provision of the law. All the agreement that is enshrined in this must be referred to in correct interpretation, in sync with the interpretation of the law. Okay. Now, if we deviate from the interpretation of the law to play to the gallery, that means we are shrugging off from the responsibility of accountability, which is required as per the Article 164(2). Now, that is the reason why we would like to ensure that there is no precedence. Precedence should not be there. Let there be some proper sense of responsibility to this August House. In the event of finding an exit, that Para 12 is very clear, you have the exit clause. Who has stopped the government from trying to go for exit clause or to draw the power and sell? Because the rate which has been indicated has already been there. We are selling now power to industries at more than 6 rupees 60 paisa. With the fixed charges, it is more. With the demand charges, it is more. Therefore, if you cannot sell the power, draw it and sell. If you cannot draw it and sell, you are deliberately not paying and then blaming the,
we're not having a debate
blaming
on
the
this.
agreement and the preceding government. That is not correct. That's why I'm saying this is a distortion. It should be corrected.
Kindly conclude this.
In fact, the motion was brought in such a manner that I have heard the complainant, and at the same time I have heard the Chief Minister who has been complained of. So from both sides, I've heard. And so we now know whether the mover will withdraw the motion or not.
Mr. Speaker, sir, there is no question of withdrawing.
Okay.
Yeah, because with the type of statement that the Honorable Chief Minister has given, it is actually misinforming the House and misleading the House subsequently. Because this is technical matter, sir. This technical matter, and long deliberation will be required. With just brief submission, we cannot make people understand. A long debate, arguments will have to be there. Then only it can be heard properly. And the agreement whichever had been made during 2007 is based on the provision of the Electricity Act 2003, Mr. Speaker, sir. In Section 45, subsection 3, it is written, the charges of electricity supplied by a distribution licensee may include a fixed charge in addition to the charge for the actual electricity supplied. B, a rent or other charges.
I think we'd like to know your mind, whether you would like to withdraw or not.
Going into agreement after agreement,
Yeah, I
sir.
know. We have discussed enough on this.
It is long issue, sir.
I have heard from.
It is long issue.
I have
Just
heard from
in
you.
one
Let
or two
me just
sentences.
ask
House
the
has
honourable
heard.
member,
And
that can you deny,
disturb me,
can
then
you
I will
deny
submit-
that we have to pay 11.8 crores today? Can you deny it? You
It is
can't.
not written.
Can you
It is-
deny? I have got the bill with me right here. We are paying 11.8 crores per month. Can you deny it? Can you deny that this will go on for
Sir,
next 25 years?
in one
Can
word,
you
I
deny
cannot
it?
reply.
Can you deny it?
Let him not-
Can you
let
deny
him
the
not
fact that
disturb
there are
me
fixed
when I am
charges?
submitting,
Can
Mr.
you deny
Speaker,
it? You can't deny it, sir. These are facts. We are paying right now and we will continue to pay for the 25 years. This is my point, sir. Now we go into agreement after agreement, sir. We can call all the legal experts
There
and
are
bring
lots
it
of
in.
agreements, sir.
The petitioner should be given time. I think you have given him.
No, I have given him time.
You have
but
given
during
him-
his course of.
You have given him time, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Yeah.
And
we have
this
discussed enough.
11 crore
may I know that
regulatory
now-
they are paying is because you are not drawing the power.
Please take-
because you failed to draw the power.
Please take a seat. May I know the mind of the mover? Would you like to withdraw or not? The House has heard both sides.
Mr. Speaker, sir, if after my submission, Chief Minister has given his own clarification.
Yeah.
After hearing to his clarification, I have some other
So
thing
you're
to speak
satisfied or not
based
with
on
that?
that.
Are you satisfied or not with that
I'm
reply
not
from the
satisfied.
Chief Minister?
I am not satisfied,
So you
Mr. Speaker,
decide not to withdraw? You decided
No.
not to withdraw?
without getting any satisfactory reply and just deviating from the actual, the fact, how can I be willing to withdraw my privilege motion? So I will not withdraw, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Okay. As
62 maybe follow.
as per the rule,
Will
can you take a
Rule
seat?
162
Can you
maybe
take a
follow?
seat? As per Rule 163 of the Rules of Procedure and Conduct of the Business, the motion of breach of privilege raised by Senate M. Sangma will have to be decided, backleaved, and taken into consideration by the House. The question is that the motion raised by Senate M. Sangma MLA or the question of breach of privilege be taken into consideration by the House. Those who are for the motion say aye. Those who are against say no. The noes have it, and the motion on the question of breach of privilege raised by Zenit M. Sangma is rejected by the House.
Sir?